Se me olvidó despedir a los niños a su clase, a clase de niños, si quieren salir. Hebrews chapter 11, Hebreos capítulo 11, and we're going to really focus in on Hebrews 11:11 this morning, a text that talks to us about the first mother in the covenant, and her name is Sarah. Hebrews chapter 11, but we'll go ahead and read the context around the verse, and we'll look at verses 8 through 12. Vamos a ver el contexto alrededor de Hebreos 11:11, que es el versículo de nuestro enfoque de hoy, que nos habla acerca de Sara, quien es la primera mamá en el linaje de padres y madres del pacto. Pero leeremos el texto alrededor para entender el contexto bien. Hebreos 11, de 8 a 12. It says, by faith, Abraham, when he was called, obeyed by going out to a place which he was to receive for an inheritance. And he went out not knowing where he was going. By faith, he lived as an alien in the land of promise, and as in a foreign land, dwelling in tents with Isaac and Jacob, fellow heirs of the same promise. For he was looking to the city which had foundations, whose architect and builder is God. By faith, also Sarah herself received ability to conceive beyond the proper time, and since she considered him to be faithful who had promised. Therefore there was born even of a man, and in him as good as dead, that many descendants, as numerous as the stars in heaven, and innumerable like the sand which is by the seashore.
El libro de Hebreos, capítulo 11, versículo 8, dice así: por la fe Abraham, cuando fue llamado para ir a un lugar que más tarde recibiría como herencia, obedeció y salió sin saber a dónde iba. Por la fe se radicó como extranjero en la tierra prometida y habitó en tiendas de campaña con Isaac y Jacob, herederos también de la misma promesa, porque esperaba la ciudad de cimientos sólidos, de la cual Dios es arquitecto y constructor. Por la fe Abraham, a pesar de su avanzada edad y de que Sara misma era estéril, y recibió fuerza para tener hijos, porque consideró fiel al que le había hecho la promesa. Así que de ese solo hombre, ya en decadencia, nacieron descendientes numerosos como las estrellas del cielo e incontables como la arena a la orilla del mar. Vamos a orar por el servicio, hermanos. Señor, venimos ante ti esta mañana contentos y tranquilos, Señor, agradecidos por esta oportunidad de estar aquí en tu templo una vez más. Y esta vez, Señor, en este sermón en el que se habla de la fe, Señor, queremos que podamos entender un poco más por medio del pastor Jesse. Te pedimos que lo llenes de sabiduría para poder transmitir a nosotros este mensaje, Señor. Te pedimos humildemente, Señor, que a través de tu palabra podamos llevarla a diario a nuestra vida, Señor, y que nos sirva como instrumento para traer más hermanos a tu iglesia, Señor. Te pedimos en el nombre precioso de tu Hijo Jesucristo. Amén.
Well, this Mother's Day, we're going to look at a text that talks about mothers, and I do that with a little bit of hesitation to try and talk about being a mother and being a mother of faith, because I'm not a mom. I never will be a mom. And so it's a little difficult for me to speak to that situation, but Scripture, I think, has a message for us in this story of Sarah. I'm going to do my best to encourage us to look at her as an example of a woman who lived by faith, as a mother who lived by faith. And I hope that'll be encouraging to you moms this morning, and also to the rest of us. Siempre es un poco difícil el Día de las Madres. Voy a hablar de la historia de una mamá aquí en la Biblia, y se me hace un poco difícil, y lo pienso en hacer porque obviamente yo no soy mamá, nunca voy a ser mamá, no puedo entender realmente lo que es la bendición y también los momentos difíciles que pasan las mamás, pero espero que al reflexionar acerca de la vida de Sara y su fe, que podemos ser animados todos, las mamás y todos nosotros. I do know that being a mother is a difficult difficult job, and I know that because my mother put up with all kinds of difficult situations on my account. Sí sé que ser mamá puede ser algo difícil, porque mi mamá aguantaba muchas cosas por mi cuenta, y estoy seguro que no soy el único que hace esto a su mamá. But Sarah, as an example to us, is a woman who lived by faith. This morning we're going to briefly consider, therefore, Sarah's faith. Her story is amazing because she has moments of great faith, and she has moments of real struggle. And I hope that will be encouraging as we think about that. Vamos a considerar entonces en esta mañana la fe de Sara. Su fe tiene momentos muy altos, momentos de gran fe y momentos bajos, momentos cuando realmente lucha. Espero que podamos ver su historia y ser animados nosotros. Also, see her faith and how her faith enabled her to stand against her own circumstances. Right? Our faith calls us to believe even when everything else around us says not to. And Sarah is an amazing example of someone believing in spite of circumstance. La fe de Sara también veremos que ella creyó, confiaba en el Señor, tenía fe en Dios, aun cuando sus circunstancias eran muy difíciles. Eso es algo que todos tenemos que hacer. And we'll see that the foundation for her faith was the faithfulness of God. That was what kept her going. Y veremos aquí en nuestro texto que la fe de Sara, su confianza en Dios, fue porque Dios es fiel. Ella conoció y reconoció que Dios es fiel, y por su fidelidad ella también tenía fe. So we're just going to really focus in on verse 11, because I promised you guys last week, after I went way over, that I would not do that again today, especially as I know many of you have those plans. Y vamos a enfocar nada más en un solo versículo, porque la semana pasada prediqué de más. Y les prometí que no íbamos a quedar muy tarde hoy, porque sé que muchos tienen planes para salir con sus familias, y yo creo que disfrutan estos tiempos. So, starting in verse 11, by faith, just thinking about that short little introduction here. Por faith. This is the introduction used not only of Sarah, but of Abraham, of Isaac, of Jacob, of Abel, of Noah, of so many great characters of faith. And Sarah is part of this wonderful history of faith. Sara vivió por fe. Esta frase, por fe, es lo que introduce la vida de Abel, de Isaac, de Jacob, de Abraham, de Noé, de muchos personajes tan importantes del Antiguo Testamento. And as I mentioned already, Sarah's faith was a faith that had moments of great triumph. Her faith was strong, and she also had moments where she really struggled to believe. First of all, when we read about the story of Abraham, we have to remember Sarah is going along with him through this whole process. In Genesis 12, Abraham and Sarah leave their home to go to a place that God will show them, which means that they start off walking and God says, on the way, I'll show you where we're going. He doesn't say, this is where we're going, it's going to be great, it's at this location. He just says, pack up your stuff and start walking. What amazing faith Abraham and Sarah demonstrated by stepping out and doing that. Abraham y Sara, el comienzo de su historia en Génesis 12 es algo realmente increíble. Dios les dice, empaca todas sus cosas y vayan a un lugar que les voy a enseñar. No saben dónde van, no saben dónde es el lugar, no saben ni siquiera cómo va a ser. Simplemente Dios dice, empieza a caminar y en el camino yo te enseñaré dónde es que tienes que ir. Eso es fe increíble. Yo creo que la mayoría de nosotros no haríamos esto, ¿verdad? I think most of us would really struggle to do that, to go to a place where we don't even know where we're going, just to start walking. That requires tremendous faith. No creo que sería fácil para nosotros. Requiere fe increíble, tremendo, para realmente poder hacer esto. And Sarah, you have to remember her story. She goes through all kinds of trials. Abraham, we talk about him as a man of great faith, and in many ways he was, but in many ways he struggled also. And for her to hang on to faith, as Abraham two times, right? He goes to Egypt and then with Abimelech and he says, Sarah, I'm really scared, so would you just tell everybody that you're my sister and not my wife? And I mean, I would have been so frustrated at that point. I'm like, no way, absolutely. We're not doing this. And it makes a big mess, and God is faithful to them, and Sarah doesn't walk away. It's really quite amazing that she continues to trust in God and His promises. If I were her, I would have just been like, you know what, I'm going back home with my family, Abraham. I hope things work out for you, right? Even in the midst of Abraham not believing, Sarah continues to believe. She's really exemplary in that. Sara mantiene la fe aun cuando su esposo Abraham duda. Abraham es un hombre de gran fe, pero también tiene sus momentos de debilidad. En dos ocasiones pide que Sara mienta acerca de su identidad, diciendo que es su hermana y no su esposa, porque tiene miedo. Y Sara no lo abandona. No abandona las promesas del Señor ni a su esposo, aun en esos momentos que es tan obvio que Abraham ha fallado. Ella sigue. Eso es tener fe en Dios y ser fiel a su esposo de una manera realmente increíble. Now, Sarah also has her own very real struggles. Sarah también tiene sus propias luchas que son muy real. As you read her story in the Old Testament, there are times where you go, oh, what a woman of great faith. And there are other times where you just go, oh no, what's happening, right? And particularly we come to Genesis 16, which is the story of Hagar. And Hagar is Sarah's maidservant. And Sarah has come to a point where she just thinks, you know what, God doesn't have anything planned for me. Abraham, maybe God will fulfill His promises to you, but I don't think I'm going to get to be a part of that. And so I think that, in order for you to have descendants, that you should father children with this other woman. And this is also a moment of failure for Abraham, because he should have been like, no, right, honey, hold on to your faith. This is, we're in this together. And Abraham's like, okay, well, I guess we'll go with that. And it's a real low moment in the story of Abraham and Sarah. Es tan triste el momento de la historia de Génesis 16. Sara está triste, ya grande, sintiendo que, ¿sabes qué? Abraham le dice, a lo mejor Dios cumplirá sus promesas para ti, pero yo creo que yo ya no voy a formar parte de eso. Si Dios te prometió descendientes, creo que deberías de tener descendientes con Agar, ¿se pronuncia? Agar, quien fue la sierva de Sara. Tristemente es otro momento que Abraham falla. Abraham hubiera dicho, no, cariño, no, las promesas son para los dos, pero no, él va y sigue el plan. It's such a sad moment to see Sarah think that, you know what, she hasn't totally lost faith in God, because she thinks God is going to do something, but she just thinks that maybe she isn't going to get to be a part of it anymore. That maybe God is still good and is going to bless somebody, but it's not going to be her. Es un momento tan triste porque Sarah ha llegado a este momento que no ha perdido fe totalmente en Dios, pero ella piensa que las promesas del Señor ya no se pueden aplicar a ella. No sabemos por qué. I don't know what kinds of doubts plagued Sarah's mind in those moments that led up to Genesis 16, but something had convinced her that she no longer was going to get to be a part of what God was doing. No sé qué pensamientos habrá tenido, con cuáles pensamientos habrá luchado Sara en los momentos y días antes de Génesis 16, pero le llevaron a la conclusión de que yo ya no puedo alcanzar ser parte de la bendición del Señor. What a sad thing. And what a thing that I think, actually, if we're honest, many of us can relate to, right? Maybe we don't lose faith totally in God, but we feel like because of who we are, what we've done, or what somebody else has done to us, that we just can't be directly a part of what God is doing anymore. And that's a lie. That's a lie. And Scripture tells us, no. God has these plans. He has this purpose. He has promises. And they're for you. They're not just for other people. They're for you. And Sarah really struggled to believe that at this particular moment. Qué triste, porque creo que muchos de nosotros podemos llegar a momentos así. No perdemos fe totalmente en el Señor, pero empezamos a creer que las promesas del Señor no se va a hacer, no van a ser por nosotros. Pensamos por algo que nosotros hemos hecho, por quienes somos, por algo que alguien más nos ha hecho, que nosotros no vamos a alcanzar estas promesas. Y qué triste, eso es una mentira. La Biblia hace tan claro que Dios tiene promesas para nosotros, que sus promesas son para toda persona que quiere confiar en Él, y no debemos excluirnos de lo que Dios quiere hacer en este mundo y los planes que tiene. So we don't ever want to exclude ourselves from what God is going to do, but it can be hard to believe that sometimes, right? Facebook has a wonderful way of making everybody feel depressed, right? Because you look at it, everybody puts all the happy pictures of themselves up on there, and you look at it, and you just go, oh man, I couldn't have that, I couldn't be that happy, I could whatever, and we start to think, well, maybe other people can be happy, but I'm not sure that I can ever have that. Right? Well, I don't know exactly what sorts of things you want, but I do know that Scripture says God has a plan that includes you having peace and joy, that includes you being used for a purpose in your life. So to be careful how we let things come into our mind and maybe comparing ourselves to other people. And I don't know what happened with Sarah. We'll talk about her circumstance, but she really struggled to believe that God still had a plan for her. And this morning, before we continue, to encourage you, God has a plan and a purpose for you, and nothing you've done, nothing anybody did to you, and nothing about you can stop those things if you would trust in the Lord. En esta mañana, antes de seguir, quiero animarles, no hay nada en tu vida que puede impedir las promesas del Señor que tiene para ti. Nada que tú has hecho, nada que alguien te ha hecho, y nada de tus circunstancias va a impedir las promesas del Señor. Fortunately, Sarah's life is not ultimately characterized by doubt. In fact, her faith overcomes her circumstances. Gracias a Dios, la vida de Sara no es caracterizado en total por duda, sino es caracterizado por un fe que vence sus circunstancias. So as we continue on, we see Sarah, she's living by faith. Even Sarah herself. And there's a little translational issue here. Some of your translations don't have this, but most of the best manuscripts we have do include it. Sarah herself being sterile, not being able to have children. That's certainly what we read about. Whether the word is part of the text or not isn't so much an issue. But Sarah herself being sterile and advanced in age, we read in the rest of the verse. Sara misma siendo estéril. Unos de tus traducciones no tienen esta palabra estéril, pero los manuscritos, los mejores sí lo contienen. Pero no importa tanto eso porque por la historia lo sabemos. No pudo tener hijos, no tuvo hijos hasta que tenía 80 y algo años. Muchos años duraba sin poder tener hijos. So she is in her 80s when she finally is able to have a child. But by faith, she lives not according to her circumstances, but by the reality which God will determine. Por su fe, ella decide vivir no según sus circunstancias, sino por la realidad que Dios va a determinar. If you look up to verse 1, it says, faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. Sarah ultimately had that kind of faith. Si ves más arriba en Hebreos 11:1, dice que la fe es estar seguro de lo que esperas, de estar convencido de lo que no vemos. Al final, Sara venció su circunstancia con la fe. She did not look at herself and say, well, this is impossible. Rather, she allowed God to determine what was going to be possible and what wasn't. And that's something we all need to learn how to do. Nobody else determines at the end of the day what's possible and impossible. God does that. That's His job. We need to let Him do it. Faith allows Him to do that. Tenemos que también nosotros aprender eso, de dejar que Dios determina lo que realmente es posible y lo que es imposible, porque Él es Dios. Eso es su trabajo. No es nuestro trabajo, ni es trabajo de los expertos. So don't let the circumstances of your life or what others say determine what you believe to be possible. No permites que las circunstancias de tu vida o lo que otros dicen a determinar lo que crees que es posible en tu vida. Busca a Dios. Busca lo que Él dice acerca de eso. We want to look to the Lord and to what He says is possible. I've told you this many times before, but when I think about it, it just comes back to me as an example because it's what I've lived. But when I was in high school, my Spanish teacher who told me, just go back to woodshop, right? Just go back to woodshop. You're not going to learn this language. I don't know what's the matter, but it's just not working. It would be really great if you go to metal shop or go to woodshop. That's exactly what I did. And God, in His sense of humor, has gotten me here, right? Speaking English and Spanish, neither one particularly well, but you seem to get the idea. So I think it's working, right? Yo siempre recuerdo esa historia de mi propia vida, de mi maestra de la preparatoria que me dijo, ay, no, sabes que tú nunca vas a aprender español. Te regresa al taller de madera o de metal, pero aquí no, por favor ya no vuelves en el año que entra. Español no es el tuyo. Pero Dios, con todo su humor, aquí me tiene. Todos los domingos hablando en las dos idiomas, ninguno muy bien, pero ustedes siguen regresando, así que pienso que me entiendan. Dios hace cosas que los humanos dicen que es imposible. God does things that other people say are impossible. And so we don't want our reality to be determined by our own thoughts, what we think is possible or impossible, or even what other people say, right? Because at the end of the day, God is the one who will determine what is possible and what is not. Al final del día, Dios es el que va a determinar lo que es posible y lo que no es posible. And God, I'll just tell you this, He has a tendency, He loves to choose the people that nobody would expect, right? You read, we won't look at it because I promised we would finish early, but 1 Corinthians, if you're taking notes, write this down, 1 Corinthians 1, 26 to 31. Paul just says, hey guys, think about your own life. Think about the way that God is using you. Nobody expected God to use you guys this way, but He did. Because God loves to choose the things and the people that the world calls foolish to shame them. He says God chooses people that nobody would expect. And you can go through your Old Testament and you can just see that over and over again. Moses has a speech problem, and he says, you're going to be the leader of Israel, and you're going to go talk to the most powerful man in the world. You're going to go talk to Pharaoh. You think about Gideon. Guy's scared out of his mind, and God says, you're going to be a great warrior. You think of David. He's the little youngest brother, and God says, you're going to be the king of Israel. He chooses the people that you never expect. Even in the story of the patriarchs, right, in the Old Testament, God doesn't choose the firstborn. Over and over again, He does this. You're supposed to be the firstborn, but it's Jacob, right? And Isaac, who's kind of the firstborn, but kind of isn't the firstborn. And God just does things that we wouldn't expect. And so we need to trust in Him. We need to trust in Him because oftentimes He's doing things that we can't see, that we can't even imagine. And this is where faith comes in. En el Antiguo Testamento lo vemos vez tras vez. Dios escoge personas que nadie esperaba. Moisés, que no pudo hablar bien. Gedeón, que tenía tanto miedo. Y Dios dice que tú vas a ser un gran guerrero. David, que era el más joven, el más chiquito de todos sus hermanos. Y Dios dice, tú vas a ser el rey de Israel. En la historia de Génesis, Dios nunca escoge el primogénito de las familias, nunca escoge el mayor, sino a los menores, que va totalmente en contra de lo que la cultura esperaba. Dios le gusta hacer estas cosas. Así que no dejamos que nuestra circunstancia determine lo que pensamos que es posible. Dios hace esto, es su trabajo. This is God's job. We need to let Him do it. He's very good at it. All right, now, Sarah considers him who promised to be faithful. That's ultimately the source of her faith. Sara considera el que prometió fiel. Y eso es la fuente y la fundación de su propia fe. In Genesis 18:14, after the whole Hagar situation Abraham has visitors who are clearly messengers of God. And they come to him and they say, within a year, Sarah's going to have a child. And Sarah's still struggling, and she laughs. And she says, okay, right? So she's not right there with them, but they hear her. And they say, why did you laugh? She's like, I didn't laugh. I don't know what you're talking about. Right? She gets nervous. And they ask this question. They say, is anything too difficult for the Lord? And I wonder if this might have been the moment, a big shift in Sarah's life, where she goes, that's a good question. If God created the heavens and the earth, and if God is who He says He is anything really too difficult for Him? And the obvious answer, according to Scripture, is no. Right? And God repeats this idea over and over to His people in the prophet Jeremiah, several times in Zechariah and in Matthew. Just says, remember who I am. Nothing is impossible for me. And when Sarah gets that, her faith is boosted tremendously. Right? En Génesis 18 se cuenta la historia de tres mensajeros que llegan a hablar con Abraham. En hablar con él, dicen, dentro de un año vamos a regresar y Sara va a tener un hijo. Y Sara está escuchando y se ríe. Claro que sí, tengo 80 y algo años, en un año voy a tener un hijo. Sí, buen chiste. Y luego hablan con ella, dice, ¿por qué reíste? Ella no pensaba que habían escuchado, y dice, no reí, no. Y dice, no, sí reíste, pero le hacen una pregunta. Hay algo que es demasiado difícil para el Señor. Eso puede ser un momento muy importante en la fe y la vida de Sara, que empieza a considerar la pregunta y la respuesta que está obvio en la Biblia, que no hay nada imposible para él. No hay nada imposible para él. Esa promesa llega a ser muy importante, que se repite varias veces en la Biblia, en Jeremías, en Zacarías, en el libro de Mateo. And perhaps the strongest parallel to these words come in the book of Luke. And it's not in the form of a question this time, but in a statement. The angel speaking to Mary, another future mother, and says, for nothing will be impossible with God. Now, why the parallel? Why Sarah and why Mary? Is it because the life of a mother is very difficult and they're going to need faith? Perhaps. It's certainly probably in part that, right? Aquí vemos un paralelo muy especial en Lucas 1:37, cuando el ángel está hablando con María antes de que va a nacer Jesús y le dice, no en forma de pregunta, sino en una afirmación de que no hay nada que será imposible para Dios. ¿Y por qué ese paralelo? ¿Por qué el paralelo entre Sara y María? Pienso yo que, bueno, muchos dicen, bueno, ha de ser porque ser mamá es muy difícil, y seguro que lo es. But in a more general sense, I think it's because God's redemptive promises are always fulfilled in unexpected ways. Nobody was expecting the world to be saved by a man dying on a cross. They weren't expecting that. But that was God's fulfillment to His promises, right? That's the greatest example. And when He died on the cross, certainly nobody was expecting Him to rise from the dead. He did. That becomes the source of our hope. And God says, you gotta trust me. You gotta trust me. I will do everything I said I would. Maybe in ways that you don't expect, but I will fulfill my promises. Pienso que el paralelo ahí es tan importante porque las promesas de redención siempre se cumplen de maneras inesperadas. El ejemplo principal es el Evangelio mismo, de que Jesús murió. Nadie esperaba que el Mesías iba a morir, nadie esperaba que se iba a levantar, pero esto es la fundación de nuestra fe. Now, trusting in God, we'll wrap it up here. Trusting in God doesn't mean that we can just have whatever we want. It means trusting in His character, right? We don't just sort of have faith in something so that our faith changes reality, but we trust in the person who controls reality. We trust in God. No matter how much faith I have, much to my dismay, I can't just make a hamburger appear out of nothing. Right? That's not the way that faith works. Aunque yo quisiera, con mi fe no puedo cambiar la realidad. Lo que tengo que hacer es confiar en el que tiene control de la realidad. Por tanta fe que tengo, no puedo hacer que me aparece una hamburguesa bien grandote aquí. Así no es cómo funciona la fe. La fe bíblica confía en Dios, que Él suplirá todas nuestras necesidades. Si es que necesitas una hamburguesa, Dios lo proveerá. Pero es fe en el que tiene control. No es fe para que tú controles las cosas. Y es una distinción muy importante. Right? Our faith trusts in the one who has control. We trust that God will supply for all of my needs according to Christ Jesus. So we don't have faith so that we can have control. We have faith in the one who we believe does have control. And this changes everything. Because the God who has control doesn't give you an outline of everything that's going to happen in your life, but He does promise peace. He does promise not to abandon us. He does promise to give us guidance. El Dios que tiene control de todo no nos dice exactamente todo lo que va a pasar en la vida, pero nos da unas promesas preciosas de paz, promesas de que jamás nos va a abandonar, promesas de que Él nos guiará en todo momento. So I want you to think about this, how you might apply these things to your life. Right? It's Mother's Day. If I could be so bold as to think about how this might apply to mothers. Right? Some of you need some guidance. God promises He's going to give that to you if you trust Him. Algunos de ustedes, si puedo tratar de hacer aplicaciones en especial para las mamás en este día, dicen, yo necesito ayuda, necesito que alguien me guíe, que me da dirección. Dios promete hacer eso. Ten fe en Él, acércate a Él. Some of you are moms and you didn't intend to be moms. My mom used to lovingly tell me that I was a very happy accident, a great surprise, right? So I know that can happen in theory, right? Guess what? Guess what? God promises not to abandon you in this moment as you're trying to figure out what that's all about. Algunos de ustedes son mamás y no esperaban ser mamás. Mi mamá siempre dijo que fui un accidente muy feliz o fue una sorpresa muy especial, algo que no se esperaba. ¿Sabes qué? Confía en el Señor, no te va a abandonar en este momento, no te va a abandonar en este momento. Some of you, some of us this morning are here and we miss our mother. I'm going to be praying for, I can just be specific, and I know she doesn't mind us sharing this, our sister Avelia, whose mom passed away on Thursday. We prayed for her, right? That's a hard thing to do. Guess what? If we go to God with faith, He promises to comfort us, promises to give us peace that we can't understand. And so we can go to Him and we can trust in Him. Algunos de nosotros extrañamos a nuestra mamá en este día. Quizás ya no está con nosotros. Y lo menciono y es algo que sé que puedo mencionar porque ha hablado con la congregación de eso. Nuestra hermana Evelia no está con nosotros hoy porque en esta semana perdió su mamá falleció. Hermanos, hay esperanza en estos momentos porque Dios promete dar paz, consuelo que ninguna otra persona puede dar. Confiamos en Él, acercamos a Él. Somebody said that the life of mothers is particularly challenging because moms give 50% of their energy to work, 50% of their energy to their husband, and 50% to their children. I'm going to teach a couple of math classes next year at the school where I am. You don't have to be a math teacher to figure out that doesn't work. I don't know if those numbers and percentages are right. The point is there's a lot going on, right? I can just encourage you to trust the Lord. He will give you strength to do the things that you need to do, give you guidance. Alguien dijo, no sé si sea cierto, ¿verdad? Pero dice que la vida de una mamá es muy difícil porque dan 50% de energía al trabajo, 50% a sus esposos, 50% a sus hijos. Yo voy a enseñar unas clases de matemáticas el año que entra, me pidieron. No tienes que ser maestro de matemáticas para saber que eso no es posible, es demasiado, ¿verdad? Y no sé si los porcentajes sean bien, pero la idea es que ser mamá es difícil. Se te puede animar con algo en esta mañana, confía en el Señor, confía en Él, Él te va a fortalecer. Now it's not just for moms, that's for all of us. We can go to the Lord and we can trust Him. We celebrated communion this morning where God has shown His faithfulness in the most amazing and climactic way. We can trust Him. He loves us. He's just. He's merciful. All of those things are things that we see in Christ, His life, His death, and His resurrection. God has shown Himself to be faithful. He asks that we would trust in Him. En esta mañana celebramos la comunión, reflexionando acerca de la muerte de nuestro Señor Jesucristo. El momento cuando Dios nos mostró su fidelidad de manera especial. Nos mostró que es un Dios justo, que toma en serio el pecado, pero es un Dios de amor, de misericordia, un Dios que nos perdona. Ha mostrado su fidelidad y ahora quiere que nosotros le respondemos con fe, lo mismo que ha pedido desde hace mucho. Así que les animo a seguir el ejemplo de Sara, la primera mamá de los pactos que Dios hizo con su pueblo. So I encourage you to follow the example of Sarah. It won't always be easy, there'll be highs, there'll be lows, but she set a good example for us to follow as the first mother of the covenants of Scripture by trusting in the Lord. Let's go ahead and pray. Vamos a orar. Padre, venimos delante de ti.